So, hello there everyone and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it is time for yet another FIFA 20 career mode experiment. Today, we've seen the randomizing of nationalities, overalls, attributes, all that sort of thing. You guys seeming to really enjoy it, which I'm very happy to see. Thank you all for the support on these experiments recently. So I thought you might want to see another one, potentially. I don't know, I'm guessing you do, you're here, that would make a lot of sense. We're randomizing potentials today, the ability that each player can achieve if everything goes right in their career. Every single number for every single player's potential has been randomized between 1 and 99. But if you go on to enjoy the video, then feel free to slap a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Just recently hit 350,000 subscribers, which is absolutely mental, so thank you all for that one. Can't believe that many people want to see me break FIFA regularly. It's quite astonishing. Anyway, as you can see, we're using Liverpool for this experiment. Thankfully, there's no sign of Watford, it would appear. You're a lucky man that you're allowed to stay around here, Dejan. Yeah, you look away. Now, every single player in here, as well as every single player in the game, has had their potential randomized. And I guess the way we can check that is to look at the statuses. You can see Kalea here, the Irish goalkeeper, is showing great potential. I don't think on the normal version of the game he has anything near 80. I think it's more like 76. If we go further down, though, you'll see someone like Sepp Vandenberg, who has at least showing great potential. Usually doesn't have a status at all, which means his potential is somewhere less than 80. And just to remind you, it could literally be 1. Sepp Vandenberg could be 1 overall. Well, he's not. He's 66. But I mean, and this is obviously gonna affect the regens as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example, could have a potential of like 12. Then if that's the case, when he retires, his regen is gonna be 12 overall maximum. So listen, I could be jumping the gun here, but Stoke are in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Now, no offense to Stoke, but they're near the bottom of the championship for a start. How have we ended up here then? Are we already seeing the impact of this experiment? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting absolutely nothing whatsoever to change in this first season, and at the top of the table, that's pretty much the case. We have actually won the league on goal difference over City. It's more down towards the bottom, actually, where Burnley have gone down, which is a bit of a surprise, but Everton have gone down with just 11 points. This is complete news to me, but apparently I've signed for Everton. Yes, lads. I'm going to assume the reason Everton went down is because they didn't have a competent goalkeeper. They sold Jordan Pickford, though having said that, he's not really a competent goalkeeper either. So, your FA Cup winners are Man City. They beat us in the finals, so that's looking pretty normal right now. Meanwhile, we won the Carabao Cup, defeating Leicester 2-0 in the final. Over in the Champions League, your winners are Paris Saint-Germain over Piemonte Calcio, and in the Europa League, Eintracht Frankfurt beat Inter 2-1 in the final. Because we've changed all the potentials, the scouting reports have kind of changed as well. So these are the players in England that are considered promising now, not usual. Elliot List from Stevenage, Jack Aitchison from Forest Green, Odin Bailey also from Forest Green. Dear mother of Christ, what's happened to Gini Wijnaldum? If I look at the wheel, he's still a good player. Why is his overall 47? I'm perplexed. I'm very confused. Why is he randomly gone down by 38? His attributes haven't changed. I think the quality of the first 2 free agents on this list pretty much sums up how this experiment is gonna go. Diasha Bandari is literally diabolical. To Anil Bandari, his brother is significantly better, but then Amanpreet Bandari, listen, I don't know what is going on in the Bandari genes. There's clearly a significant imbalance. There's no consistency here at all. There's definitely a wide variety of regens. Oh my goodness me. Wijnaldum has now returned to his normal overall. I'm very confused at this point in time. There's been some disturbance in the peace in season number 3, and it's caused by Newcastle United, who have forced their way into the Champions League now, along with ourselves, who won the league. United and City, Bournemouth, Norwich and Stoke were relegated. Liverpool won the FA Cup for a 2nd season in a row, beating Chelsea, and they won the League Cup as well, defeating Manchester United 3-2. The Champions League winners are Bayern ahead of Inter, and the Europa League was won by North London side Spurs over Lazio. I don't really know how, but but Thomas Ramos, a Uruguayan attacking midfielder regen, is playing for Salford City. I don't know what's going on here, and he's 87 at 21. The experiment has been keeping it pretty chilled out so far, not much has changed, but that's probably a sign of things to come. Season 5 is the season where things have finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. Tottenham Hotspur have won the league, only losing once during the course of the campaign and scoring 107 points. Meanwhile, Crystal Palace, Villa, Leicester, Southampton and Watford round out your top 8. I don't really know what's happened to the second half of the usual top 8, whilst all the way down in the relegation zone with just 9 points are Chelsea, relegated along with West London rivals Brentford and also Brighton. Once again, I'm pretty sure the reason is because they have no goalkeepers. They have Juan Pizarro, who's somewhere between 9 and 19 overall, and Jamie Cumming. And, I mean, that sums it up, really. Elsewhere, over in France, Paris Saint-Germain have been knocked off the top of their perch by Monaco, who went unbeaten and scored 108 points. Your Bundesliga champions are still the usual suspects, though. Bayern winning over Leverkusen and Borussia Dortmund. Serie A was won by Juventus, once again going unbeaten ahead of Inter, Napoli and Roma. And finally, in Spain, we've got Real Madrid taking the crown there over Barca and Atletico. I know this is extremely late in the experiment to be saying something like this, but if anyone was wondering whether players go down because they've got a potential lower than their overall, they do a bit more at the end of their career, but they don't just straight away decline. And equally, players who have a terrible starting overall and have a really high potential don't just reach that straight away. Okay, there are some ridiculous players in this save, but I'll show you them later. Tottenham Hotspur are your Premier League winners for this new season. They've gone unbeaten, which is something that we didn't manage to do. Middlesbrough, newly promoted, I think, up into the Champions League already. Tottenham beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final, while City were on the receiving end of a beating in the Carabao Cup final as well, this time on penalties to Newcastle. Borussia Dortmund are your Champions League winners for Season 6, and the Europa League victors are Athletic Bilbao. Down in the Championship, Chelsea are immediately re-promoted with 44 wins from 46. Down at the bottom, we've got a first team dropping from the Premier League all the way down into League One, and that comes in the form of Burnley. Paris Saint-Germain have reclaimed the top spot in Ligue 1 ahead of Monaco, Lyon, Marseille and Lens. Your Bundesliga champions once again are Bayern, once again ahead of Leverkusen, once again ahead of Dortmund. Over in Italy, Juve are still the dominant force, and your La Liga champions are Real Madrid once again. Now, I haven't really shown much in terms of international tournaments. That's because there's not really been much of a change during the sort of 6 or 7 seasons we've done now. We're in 2026 and the World Cup has happened. Unfortunately, the Three Lions have been defeated in the final against Spain. Of course, it's on penalties. We've just lost to Stevenage in the FA Cup. This is not in the script. Another season is done in this experiment. This is going to be the penultimate one that we do. Once again, Tottenham are looking imperious in the Premier League. They've won every single game from the start of the season. City, United and Liverpool complete the top 4. It's interesting actually because the big teams have remained big because they just keep signing players from that are really good and have really good random potential. So they're staying at the top. Brentford and Chelsea go down again. Chelsea still don't have a good goalkeeper. I don't even know how they got promoted in the first place back from the Championship. This game is broken in that sense. And finally here in season number 9, I think, Spurs have finally been taken away from the top of the Premier League. It is Manchester City who are your victors, 5 points clear of the North London side. Wolves and Middlesbrough complete the top 4 with Aston Villa and Southampton making it into the Europa League. Whilst it's a slight fall from grace for us, we lost our main goalkeeper Alisson apparently, and hence we've been relegated. Manchester United beat Middlesbrough in the FA Cup final to retain that trophy, whilst over in the Carabao Cup, City get their hands back on that silverware, beating Wolves 4-1. Paris Saint-Germain beat the former champions Juventus in the Champions League final this campaign, and over in the Europa League, Spurs at least get their hands on some trophy, beating Schalke in the final. Down in the Championship, shock horror, despite not having any goalkeepers at all, Chelsea have been re-promoted. The other leagues on this game are so broken, they don't take into account anything at all, apart from how prestigious the club is. So having said that, Millwall have gone up. That wasn't a dig at them, they're just not usually promoted in this game. Mid-table though sees the likes of Rochdale and Tranmere Rovers, who have come up from the depths of the Football League, and Stevenage. It's down in League 1 where we find the likes of Burnley, who have just been re-promoted in fairness, but also Norwich and Leeds. Over to Europe now, and Paris Saint-Germain completed an unbeaten season to lift the Ligue 1 crown. Bayern won the Bundesliga, and hence water is wet. Your Italian champions are once again Piemonte Calcio or Juventus ahead of Lazio, Cagliari and Napoli. The Eredivisie was won by PSV. They've been been knocked off top spot of Ajax by AZ Alkmaar and Vitesse as well. Benfica are your Portuguese champions at a Sporting and Porto. In Scotland, we got Rangers winning the league. Finally, they're getting some joy in one of these experiments at Motherwell and Celtic. And finally, in Spain, we've seen this league a few times now in this experiment, and Real have won it every single time. Now, though, on to the players, and my goodness me, are there some stonkers. We've already got 99 rated players. Alexander Aquilia, who we saw earlier on from Ecuador, is still in the free agents list. I don't even know how the game knows that he's 99. Oh my god, he's got 99 on every physical apart from strength. Interestingly enough, we've also got Stevenage Town's David Alarrachia, I think that's pronounced. And over in Italy at Lecce, we've got Andrea Paragini, who's also 99. Further down, a 97 rated player playing at Mirandes. I think that's a Spanish club. He's Brazilian. Shenglong Chu, Chinese free agent at 97. Monaco's centre mid, Skodran Abrahamsson, 96 rated from Sweden. Another 96 rated player in the form Roman. Oh my, why are all these names so complicated? Ilaimar Harita. I mean, that's probably absolutely butchered. He interestingly wasn't at PSG before. When I first scouted him, he was playing in the second division of France, so that's a quite, like, realistic transfer. Another Stevenage player. Chang Sheng Song, another Chinese player at Real Madrid. Jeremy Dingombe, another player who's moved somewhere. He wasn't at Man City when I scouted him, but they picked him up because they're a big club. PSG with another player now, Olivier Plentinks, a Belgian centre mid. Brilliant name. Kazuki Fujimoto, though, is even better, a striker from Japan. Back to Real with Ricardo Jose Ferreira, shooter, and then the first Barca player being Rodrigo Ribeiro Souza. More 95 rated players here, a Colombian winger, a Danish defensive mid, Chilo Ogilvy, a left wing back in the free agents, joined by Alexander Parker, who's also not got a club. Yusufu Lapis, oh my god, he's got my surname as his first name. Wow! I mean, that's not the spelling for anyone who was wondering, but there's a player called Yusufu. That, though, I think is going to wrap up this experiment for today, seeing what would happen if every single potential was randomized in FIFA 20 career mode. If you have enjoyed it, then slap a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.